earlier session we have seen, that is the meta-analysis and then the process of the performance appraisal and potential appraisal. How to identify the talent and how to make the use of the meta-analysis for this particular purpose of the identifying the employees, their potential under the talent analytics. Now, the further part in this, here we will talk about the certain research papers, that is the on the performance appraisals and what type of the studies and variables have been taken. This will also help some of your research scholars because this is the literature review part. So, that may help you to decide your PhD topic also, or maybe the deciding the research papers to refer and then include in your research work. Second is the analysis of the research papers of the potential appraisal. The same methodology will be applicable. So, meta-analysis of the research papers of the performance appraisal first we will go, and in the year 1986 two papers have been published. Now, here in respect to variables, now this I want to share with you, that is whenever we are talking about the variables, first is the manager and subordinate perception. That is the how the managers and subordinates perceptions they are affecting about the performance appraisal. Now, what is a perception? In perception process there is a perceiver, target and situation. This is the process of perception. So, whenever we are having this type of the target and perceiver and the situation, now it becomes very important that this manager, he is the perceiver, subordinate, he is the target, and organization culture are in the process where this particular appraisal has been done, that is the situation is there. Naturally, these analysis of the performance appraisal that will decide, does the perceiver, that manager perceives the target in the favorable conditions, in the unfavorable conditions. Favorable conditions of the business organization growth and unfavorable conditions means when the business organization's growth is not there. So, if the overall growth is not there of the organization, that will impact on the employees also, and therefore, in that case this variable has been taken here. The second variable, effectiveness of the performance appraisal system. Now you see that is the in the case of this performance appraisal system, there are the traditional methods. In HRM we have studied, that is there are the traditional methods like the two-pair method, force choice method is there, ranking method is there, comparison method is there, right, and these are the traditional methods are there. And in the modern methods we talk about the 360-degree methods, in which you are involving the all the stakeholders, and therefore, that is the effectiveness of the performance appraisal system. That is which appraisal system is the more effective. In the comparison method, that is a two-pair comparison method is there, then that is also applicable when you have to compare only the two employees in a specific situation. Now, the appraisal practices for the upper management. How we, because these methods you see, these methods for which you are having the data from these the bosses, and then you are making the appraisal, but those who are in the upper level management, and then you have to comment on their performance. It is not that easy as compared to the frontline managers and middle level managers. So, there is also the appraisal practices have been checked for the upper management level. In this in 1992 the Namra paper was one, analysis of the performance appraisal. It was used for the pay for performance and total quality management, TQM and the pay for performance is there. Now, many people believe that is whenever we are talking about the performance enhancement, I am not talking about the potential enhancement, I am talking about the performance enhancement, right. Pay plays a very, very important role. So, therefore, when we talk about whether these monetary benefits, incentives, how much they affect the performance appraisal. And again we will go by the Maslow's theory of hierarchy of needs: physiological needs, safety needs, social needs, self-esteem need and self-actualization need. And in these needs where the individual employee is fitted. So, suppose he is fitted into the social needs, that is the love, affection and belongingness. Now, if this is the need, भाई मुझे तो वातावरण अच्छा चाहिए, 2 पैसे कम मिले तो भी कोई बात नहीं, right? Then the pay for performance, that you have to see how much it will affect. If you think that is you will be the strict and you will not respect other person, and then you will increase, you will take the work and then you will increase his salary, so that employee will continue for a long time. Now, it is very subjective, you cannot generalize, it will depend from the individual to individual. If the individuals are able to control these type of the parameters and they are looking for, some of them are looking for the non-monetary, that is like a designation, promotion. So, normally the promotion increase, the salary is there, but this in many systems the difference of salary will not be much, because the person is so senior to get to the next promotion, that is it will not make him much difference, but the difference is of the designation for him, for that particular employee. So, therefore, in that case, that is the pay for performance and total quality management, TQM, that will be very, very important factor for that particular employee. So, this was the certain studies are there, that is the pay for performance and the and total quality management is there. Now, the TQM into the HRA. So, all the functions right from the manpower planning, then the recruitment, then the selection, then the training, then compensation, then the appraisal and then promotions, and then career planning, then individual development, career development, organization development, HRD practices, then IR practices and the research, there can be some more other topics also. So, this all will be, that will be getting into the appraisal processes there. Now, the year in 1993 number of papers are 2, analysis of performance appraisal. Performance appraisal has been used with the functions of appraisal in universities and perception of the academicians, right. Nowadays lot of projects are going on to study the appraisal system, to study the job satisfaction amongst the faculties or teachers of the management education in India, in USA, in Asia, in Europe. Then recently I have just finalized one thesis topic as SRC member, and that was about in the India and Afghanistan, right, or in the Southeast Asia. So, therefore, in the for the universities and perception. So, it is being used, right, identify that is what type of perceptions are there. And in the current scenario, when we are talking about this ranking, that ranking, right, national level ranking, international level ranking, those parameters, right, your research, your outreach. So, it has the appraisal will be done to see, that is the how much the work has been done by the different teaching staff. There is one study also on non-teaching staff, but in the teaching staff in management education, and then find out that is how the appraisal system is to be there. Like normally there are the 5 pillars: teaching, training, research, projects and consultancy and administration. So, when we say about the teaching, then definitely it is not the only regular teaching, but also the like online teaching, and also the electives, offering of electives. So, it is becoming very important, that is the in teaching appraisal will be done, that is the how now that is we have seen in this corona time, that is the online teaching. So, are you comfortable or are you not comfortable? So, therefore, and taking the help of these all the resources for the online teaching and doing the electives are there. Then training, especially in the management education context I am talking about, that is the industry connect. However, this is also applicable to other disciplines and faculties also, but basically when we talk about the business faculties, you know, master of business administration. So, this industry connect, that will be the parameter of the appraisal. Research publications, everybody knows about that, the publications and the citations. And then the projects and consultancy, the projects, those projects, they are the research projects, and consultancy projects are there. Research projects where you are working on those particular topic, like I have recently completed my work on the management education in technical institutes sponsored by the ICSSR of the amount of 20 lakhs. So, therefore, that is the projects and consultancies are there. Then the administration, that is the how you are contributing to building the your institute and university. So, this will be the appraisal parameters, and on this appraisal parameters it will be decided, that is the how the faculties are doing. Naturally, those who are doing the best, so we will say they classify the talent test. Now, in the meta analysis of the research papers of the performance appraisal, it has been used variables like total quality management process versus results and individual versus group approaches. This is also a good paper, that is the when we are talking about the TQM, then in the TQM it is only the individual based versus the group approaches is there. Which one is doing better? Naturally, hypothesis, assumption. When we are talking about the total quality management, then the quality circles are playing the very important role, and that quality circles, so it means that that is a group approach. So, if we talk about the TQM process versus the results and then in that case there is a group approaches results are expected to be better in the TQM as compared to individual. In the year 2010, efficient performance appraisal and ranking system for the promotion screening of candidates applying for a particular commission in a military organization is there. So, naturally that is a particular focus organization and the focus parameters are there, and so this will be applicable for this military organization with a promotion screening of candidates with the particular commission is there. So, particular parameters will be there. Now, here the number of papers we will talk about the analysis of performance appraisal. It has been used with the variables like employee satisfaction. So, this is very important, that is if we are going for this particular type of the appraisal system, question arises whether the employee satisfaction is there or not. So, in employee satisfaction or the job satisfaction, it is important that is it is the job centricity, concentration on the job, right, or it is the job exhaustion. So, whether the employee with the satisfaction, job satisfaction, he is having that job centricity, then definitely in that case it is that he is able to concentrate. Second one is that is the goal setting is there. In the goal setting we will find that is the how they are able to decide that particular goal. Matching competencies, and in the case of these overall functions in the section, whether they are the job and the individual, that competencies are matching or not. So, when you are doing this type of the appraisal, immediately you come to know that is what is the strength, right, and where the person, as I mentioned earlier also, weaknesses are the opportunities or threats. So, therefore, in that case that competencies we will be identifying. Increased level of empowerment. So, whenever we are talking about the empowering others, what is empowering? Giving the authority, giving the my authority to others, but it is a delegation to take the decisions. So, I have empowered to take the decisions on my behalf or on a particular aspects. So, as soon as we say you can take a decision on this particular section, division or the function, then in that case that will be about the empowerment will be there. So, increased level of empowerment and the appraisal systems are there. Performance and motivation, right, that is the whether how the person is motivated, it is low, mediocre or the high, or the changing reward system, like I always give the example the variable pay, and it is a ESOP, employee share on profit. So, whenever we are talking about the changing reward systems are there, the person's that performance also keep on changing. If he finds that is the if he is making too much efforts, but the return is not that much, then in that case it is possible that his performance will decline and he will create a contented role, and that is called itne mein itna hi milta hai. So, therefore, that is a changing reward system will be there. Employees motivation and individual and organization growth, and naturally this appraisal performance is related to the growth, right. At least in the Indian context, the people those who are looking for the growth opportunities, right, they are putting the more efforts are there, and when they are putting more efforts they will be accountable also. So, in the 2012 analysis of the performance appraisal with the employee engagement, one was the job satisfaction, employee satisfaction, employees job satisfaction, employees work satisfaction, that was very important. Second one which is very important is whether the employee is engaged or not. There is a great relationship between the performance appraisal system and the employee's development perceptions. If he finds that is the these parameters are to be followed, then we will find that is he is highly involved in the development perceptions are there. So, as a result of which it becomes very important, that is the how you are getting involved because of their engagement, right, and for what purpose? To score higher in the performance appraisal. The performance appraisal process is increasingly seen as a key link between employees behavior, right, and an organization strategic objectives are there. So, when their organization strategic objectives are related, right, with the employees behavior, so naturally the appraisal parameters, for example, simple parameter the peer relationship. So, this peer relationship strategic objective is the team building. So, for team building the peer relationship, but peer relationship that is employees behavior for what? Because he wants to score higher into performance appraisal. So, therefore, socialization process is there in the organization. Study explores influences on individual employee perceptions of the visibility, validity and procedural and distributive justice of performance appraisal is there. So, these are the different dimensions in the performance appraisal, and that is a social justice is done. So, here we will find that is the what is the employee's perception. If the employee's perception is that is the he should be known with the organization, so then that visibility will be there. It will be the validity, that is the accepted norms, and definitely the procedural and distributive justice is there. So, he is getting those rewards. So, that is a distributive justice is there, he is following that procedure, and because of the following of the procedure he is getting the rewards, and that is called the procedural justice is there. So, procedural and distributive justice of the performance appraisal will be done. Now, when we are talking about the analysis of performance appraisal, increasing the performance and gaining commitment of employees, right. So, how? That is the whenever to improve the process of performance appraisal, more effective and more clarifying, that the central goal of the process is to help develop the talent in the organizations. Now, when we talk about the talent management, in the talent management what we want actually? In talent management we want that we should take the best of the talent's input, it should be properly monitored, it should be properly supported, and organizational goals are to be achieved. So, here it is to help to develop the talent in the organizations, and this particular process, that is the central goal objective. Central goal objective is that is the achieving the business strategic goals. That is that will help to develop in the talent in the organizations, because they have been monitored into through the appraisal systems. Justice, trust and employee engagement, right, that will be the dimension for making the best use of the talent management. It has been used with the variables like 360-degree feedback. I have mentioned that is the traditional methods of appraisal and the modern methods of appraisal. So, whenever there are the traditional methods of the appraisal, then that has not been become so much successful in talent management, but 360-degree feedback process that has been highly successful in the case of the performance appraisal. It will vary with the organizational context. Organizational context plays a very important role. The culture of the organization, power of the organization, politics of the organization, nature of the organization. So, the organizational context you cannot ignore, that has to be played. Employee motivation and personalized performance appraisal is there. So, employees are highly motivated and they are having the personalized performance appraisal. Those organizations which are having the person to person, the specific person that because of the job descriptions, job specification, job analysis, right. And so, then they are going for that a particular appraisal system for a particular job. Functional area wise there are different appraisal systems. For marketing they are different, for HR they are different, for finance they are different, for operations they are different, for IT they are different. But in the case of the personalized, because of the employees, designing the appraisal system for a particular employee. So, if organization is enough sensitive and smart, then they can manage this type of these the appraisal system. Now, this meta analysis of the research papers of the potential forecasting. So, this was all about that performance appraisal forecasting. Now, we will talk about the potential forecasting. Again, the using applications for assessing the potential for successful performance. What is the potential is there? That is the competing task, the predictors of the managerial potential. That is so what is we are trying to identify? We are trying to identify the managerial potential, and that what type of the role responsibilities can be assigned to this particular employee. Potential forecasting in respect to knowledge discovery technique, that is the data mining is there, and naturally when you are going for that knowledge discovery, you will get the idea about the potential of that particular employee, that what type of knowledge he has, what type of the academic background he has, what type of decisions he has taken, what type of the roles and responsibilities he has handled. So, all that will come under the potential forecasting. Potential forecasting for the institutional development, that is the how to develop that institution, right, and his contribution in the institutional development. So, his potential, that is where he can do the maximum and best for the institute. Then potential forecasting has a direct impact on business by enhancing competencies and capabilities of the employees and developing the leaders and building strong successors to raise the bar of business. Here it is the what is that new capabilities development. Whenever we are talking about the potential forecasting, we identify his potential, that is he can do this, and then we give the training and development so that he is doing his best, his ability to learn that. That is a learner's ability. Potential appraisal is also used for the learner's ability. So, developing the leaders and building strong successors to raise the bar of business. Professional development developed an evidence based approach to the management potential is there. All these potential the appraisals or forecasting is done for the to develop an evidence based approach, that is the yes, he is having that potential and that has to be professional development can be done. Then the predicting employees expertise, that is his strengths and weaknesses. Perception of the potential appraisal. So, in the perception of the potential appraisal, how the people that employee and boss, they are perceiving of the potential, as I have talked into the performance appraisal. Talent review process is there, assessment and development centers, external assessment tools are there, that is there will be the assessment centers will be there where the employee visits and then there he will be identify, that is the what is his strength and the opportunities, and of course, the area of improvement. Company self-developed assessment methods are there where the one can go and identify that self-assessment. 360-degree employee feedback assessment is there. So, the boss, that is superior, subordinate, the colleagues, all will decide, that is the how they are going to develop this particular the designing of the potential development, a justification of the potential. Human talent forecasting is done. This study shows the importance of using large volumes of data in order to take informed decision has recently become extremely discussed in most organizations are there. So, like in the current scenario also we will see, that is the how organizations are thinking about the enterprising, creativity, innovation, how to face this current situation, and therefore the discussion in most of the organizations are the same. So, software prototype designed for the experiments rates individual, in this particular paper they have talked about on a scale from 0 to 10. Improving the efficiency of labor potential, that is a talent management, and high level of motivation among high potential employees is emphasized as a condition that increases the level of labor potential efficiency is there. Now, whenever we are talking about the analysis of the potential appraisal, performance appraisal survey for the quantitative placement of employees on the talent matrix high potential talent through correlation analysis of the cultural intelligence factors will be taken care of. So, whenever there will be this type of the issues will be there where the quantitative placement of the employees, that will be taken care of with the high potential identification, and then if through the correlation analysis will be finding out, that is a cultural intelligence factors. The talented people, they will understand the culture and they will try to see how they can cope up with this particular culture is there. So, this is all about the certain research papers and dimensions and variables which talk about, that is the how this performance appraisal, potential appraisal, that can be the mechanism and the methodology is used the meta analysis, and so identifying that is which paper which method and what type of the talent the employees are having, and they can develop themselves with the help of this analysis. So, identification their potential and then deciding about that particular aspect in which they will talk about how these studies will help to identify one side the potential of the talented employees through the performance appraisal and potential forecasting, and make the use of their strengths for the future requirements. So, this is all about the certain research about the performance appraisal and the potential forecasting with the help of meta analysis. Then further we will see the interpretations of these and synthesizing into the next session. Thank you.